I am 38 found video and pictures of wife F39 cheating with another man. A little backstory. We have been together since we were in our 20s and have 2 children 11 and 13. We have had rough spots in the past due to me being gone from home for long stretches of time. I was in the military and when I got out my jobs required long hours. I take care of all the financial duties and all I asked is for her to take care of the home. Which she doesn't do, but that is another story. Fast forward to a couple of months ago. I went to a bar with a couple of friends and struck up a conversation about politics and sports with a girl at the bar. I bought her a couple of drinks for the conversation and that was the end of that. I told my wife what happened and about the girl. She immediately said I was cheating on her and she couldn't believe I would do that. After our argument we came to an agreement that we would give each other our phones so we could go through each other's messages to prove I wasn't doing anything sneaky. So right before we hand each other our phones she said she had to check on something and took her phone to the bathroom. She came out and we swapped phones. As she was going through my phone I was looking at YouTube on hers. I didn't think I had anything to worry about. Then a message came through and it was this guy. So I didn't read it but it did make me want to look at pictures and videos for some reason. There in the trash file were a picture of them together in bed and a video of her and him having sex. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. She was angry not to find anything on my phone so when she realized the sound coming from her phone she snatched it away and deleted the media permanently. I left the house. When I had a cool head I came back and confronted her about it. She said that although they were both naked and playing with themselves she didn't have sex with him. Even though I saw it on the video. Then I asked about the pictures. She denied that it was her. Then she blamed it all on me and said I was never there for her so she went to someone who she could talk to. I lost all trust for her and don't know what to do. I don't want to break up my children's home but I can't even think about being with her sexually or mentally right now. She wants me to just forget what I saw and work it out. I know this is probably not the best venue but I don't know what to do. Thanks. Too long didn't read. Saw a video of wife cheating on her phone, don't know what to do. Honestly wow. Her behavior is so inappropriate, going to the bathroom with her phone to delete evidence because she's accusing you of cheating. She has no respect for you. Sorry but this marriage is not good. Get out. Find someone who honors and respects you. I don't want to break up my children's home. Too late for that. Children aren't stupid. They will find out sooner or later. If your only reason to not get a divorce is for the children, get a divorce. Keeping the corpse of a dead marriage almost always does more harm than good to the kids. Yes, you're right. I have noticed a change in mood with my kids after all this. My wife doesn't help around the house, cheats on me, gaslights me, and accuses me of cheating. What should I do? At least she was stupid enough to get herself caught. If she didn't gaslight she'd get away with it too, laughing my butt off. People tend to accuse others of the crimes they are committing. I think it makes them feel like it isn't so bad. See, you did it too. It isn't my fault. When she accused you it was a red flag. Now that she is gaslighting you, your marriage is over. Your relationship lacks the respect and trust it requires to move forward. Therefore it is better to divorce and move forward on your own. Sometimes divorce is the happily ever after. Yeah, I know I shouldn't have bought the drinks but I didn't look at it as cheating, just a thank you for a good conversation. Second story. 28 male and unsure if wife 27 female is cheating on me with a guy she says is gay. Self relationship advice. Like the title says, I am unsure what to think. This is a longer post so for too long didn't read. See bottom. My wife and I have been married for about a year and a half and have known each other for a little over 8 years now. I will be honest with you all. I did cheat on her about 2 months into the relationship. We were long distance for the first 10 months or so with a friend I had known for years. It was a moment of weakness, naivety, and have regretted it since it happened. I confess that I did cheat on her but we worked things out over time and I grew into a much more mature person. Again, I know it sounds terrible and I honestly am embarrassed and regret it every day. Some background on our relationship. We are mainly shut-ins and don't really go out to do much other than meals or a random event like apple picking or meeting my wife's friends. We never go to bars just for the fun of it or anything. Since the pandemic started we live in the US. She's really gotten into watching Netflix a lot more. She's gone through at least 10 shows by now and is constantly watching something. Whether it's during breakfast or doing makeup in the morning. I have no issue with this unless I try to talk to her and she's got the volume up and can't hear me, so I let her enjoy her shows. But recently she has started acting slightly different. She recently received a promotion and got a substantial pay raise, believe me. During a pandemic. We got extremely lucky, but since then she's acted slightly different. She now goes out to dinner or a bar with her new coworkers at least once a week. Which again I have no problem with at all. I get my guy time playing video games. But one day about a month or so ago, she said she was meeting a guy at a local bar for a bit. She reassured me that he was gay and I told her as long as he doesn't make a move I won't be upset with her seeing him. Since then, they have met 3 or 4 times for drinks and an appetizer. Nothing was really bothering me until I saw her phone and was curious. I saw that she had asked him if he was stopping by for a visit today at work. I stopped and didn't read anymore. With her watching her shows and going out with her gay friend. She's been quiet around the house. Last night really got me concerned because before she was getting ready to shower, she sent me a Facebook message about some random post that talked about how amazing it was to have a man who she had no concerns about. Someone you trust with your heart completely and would never turn their back on you. To never wonder where he is or when he's coming home. To never wonder if their love is real. Believe me when I say she has never sent me anything like this before. It was one of those posts your mom would send about having a son or daughter who was amazing, and it is so unlike her to send something like that. Since I saw her messages to her gay friend, I've been dying inside to find out more. She carries her phone around everywhere and she's a super light sleeper. I am losing sleep over it and am terrified to really see what she is saying. I've become even more paranoid and now think everything she does or buys is for this guy. We are running low on condoms and she bought more on Amazon. I laid awake last night wondering if she was going to sneak some with her. I just need to find out what is going on and if my worries and paranoid are warranted and make sense. Other information: we are part of her family's Life 360 app where locations and drive times are shown on a map. Mother-in-law is super nice but gets paranoid. So with this I can see that she does go to the bars she said she goes to. Too long didn't read. My wife has been acting a little more distant and is now meeting her gay guy friend for drinks, and am unsure if things are more than that based on a text she sent and a Facebook message about how great it is to have a man without worrying about what he does. Update. Again, this is a longer post. Too long didn't read at the bottom. So things took a turn for the worse in my case. After the handful of meetups between my wife and her co-worker who she claims is gay, the messages that raised some alarms, and the fact that she says she stays at work late so she doesn't have to come home, I still needed some concrete information to be 100% done with this situation. Well, I received that information. The past couple's nights I've been lying awake with knots in my stomach waiting for a chance to look at her phone while she slept. She is an incredibly light sleeper and will wake up and roll over at the slightest move or noise. After 2 nights of hardly any sleep, I just said duck it and I was able to sneak over and grab it and run to the bathroom to look. And I am so glad I did. Come to find out, she has his notifications muted in a message so they don't pop up on screen when he texts her. You would think if they were just innocently talking, he wouldn't be muted. Over the next 20 minutes, I read through all the texts, but there were only ones from yesterday. So she's been deleting her texts too. The conversations were broken up with missing texts and were hard to get a grasp of the degree they were talking flirting. Then I get to the text that pushed me over the point of no return for this relationship. This is what she said in a series of texts. For reference, with his wife, G is guy. Text 1. W guess I am going to start looking for apartments. G oh fun. Were you thinking of looking? With I am not sure. I would like to be close to work. We live about 40 minutes from her work. G I know right. With the struggle. G I don't think I could handle being more than 10 minutes out of a city. I am too impulsive lol. With me too. I haven't been able to be my impulsive self in a long time. I want to be impulsive again lol. Text 2. With I need a fun getaway. Especially since I can't go home. Still unsure what she really means. It was in the middle of the day while she was at work. Text 3. With I think I am just going to go home. I pulled over by. I'll just stay in the other room haha again. I have no idea the context of her message because the ones before must have been deleted. Gee, that works too. With I don't want to be a kitten. Can we smoke soon? She never smokes anything and hasn't since I've known her. Gee, we sure can. With okay, you just say when. Text 4. Backstory. She is enrolled in a graduate degree and started classes yesterday, and sad she had this super hot professor who is built and is a veteran. She accidentally sent it to him instead of her other co-worker. With I have to be professional with him. Number 1, he's my professor. Number 2, I am married. Unfortunately. Number 3, he could be a good reference. I've been shaking all night and all of today just knowing this is going on behind my back and isn't some innocent conversation between coworkers. The worst part about it is she just goes on like nothing is going on. Tries to joke around and say she loves me and to have a great day. She isn't even fazed. I want to let you all know that I never in a million years would have thought this would happen. This is not the type of thing she would ever do. She knows how much I mean to her family. They love me and I know how much my brother-in-law is going to be heartbroken. While there hasn't been any blatant evidence that she is cheating with him per se, she clearly doesn't want to be with me. We just got married a year and a half ago. We haven't even lived in our new house for a year yet. Sure, one could chalk it up to COVID, but she works for a mental health hospital. She knows techniques to stay away from negative thoughts and feelings. She's all about talking things out, and she has not said anything like her being unhappy or bored, beside being in lockdown, or anything at all. I can even look at her without feeling like I'm going to throw up. My plan: keep getting all the texts that I can saved and contact a lawyer. I don't care what she has to say for herself at this point. Hopefully, I can get all of this done without her knowing and then just dropping the divorce on her lap. Luckily we don't have any shared accounts other than our mortgage, which I hope would stay with me because I have evidence that she wants an apartment. And our phone plan. I just don't know how I would handle losing my dogs or cat to her. Any other suggestions would be happily accepted. Unlike my apparent marriage, too long didn't read. Wife sent more texts saying she wants an apartment. Smokes cigs or weed. Unsure with this co-worker. And has the hots for her professor and says she's unfortunately married while describing said teacher. No concrete evidence of cheating with said gay co-worker, but she clearly doesn't want to be with me. Third story. Am I the a-hole for not paying for my niece's operation with my wedding fund? I have 30, have an older brother Thomas 43. His first wife passed, leaving him with my niece, and he remarried 2 years later. My dad and uncle inherited 2 lands from my grandfather. Dad left his land after it was split from me and Thomas, but Thomas sold it without my knowledge and kept all money for himself. I couldn't do anything about it cause I barely had money for college, and cause Sil said if I try to do anything about it I'd never see my niece. But I went NC and couldn't establish a relationship with my niece anyway, even though I used to take care of her when she was little. She's now 16, born with a health condition and had her first operation at the age of 1. I later inherited the other land my uncle had after he disowned Thomas. I sold it and spent money on necessities and used rest to fund my wedding soon. Thomas reached out recently and we spoke few times. He kept mentioning my niece struggling with her health condition again. He asked if I wanted to meet her, but I wanted time. After a few more conversations, he said he needs help paying for her upcoming surgery and asked if I could help with money. He brought up uncle's land and the money I put aside for my wedding. I was shocked. I asked where he knew all that. He said he's been talking to a friend mutual and he told him everything. Mutual friend said Thomas spent the money from the land on several expensive golfing trips and anniversary celebrations with his wife. He's now in debt, struggling to pay for my niece's medical expenses. I said sorry, but there was nothing I can do to help. He kept trying to convince me my wedding can wait and my niece should matter to me, reminding me that I am only family he got left and I should consider helping him for my niece's sake, not his. I reminded him of what he did to me years ago and how left me to struggle for myself. I said he was lucky I didn't sue him for the money he owed me. He said that this was his wife's idea and he was stupid and regretted listening to her, then said I could still sue them, but since they'll go to jail cause they can't pay me back, then my niece becomes my responsibility. He said I could hate him all I want, but he's just asking for my niece. He pressured me to go see her, but I felt highly uncomfortable doing that. We had a heated argument after he tried to get my fiancée to postpone the wedding. I ended up telling him to leave and he said it was okay. We'll talk again, but I said all I had to say, yet he let my friends know and they asked what's wrong with me prioritizing wedding over my niece. Thomas then emailed me saying I can't blame him for trying to help his kid and that he knew I am a better person than he is and I will do this out of goodness of my heart. He said he'd pay me back with his wife's inheritance once her father passes, which he doesn't know when, but he hopes soon enough. I am still dumbfounded by what he said. Thing is, I've always wanted a good wedding, and because I got stuck with student loans for so losing, I still live in small place. Still haven't gone on trips I wanted. Still haven't achieved most of what I wanted. I am 30 and feel like life already passed me by. If I let Thomas get my wedding fund, then I'll have to start saving for my wedding. Fourth story. My 30 male ex 30 female wants to be back in my life as a friend years later. But I don't think I want anything to do with her. Too long didn't read. I really don't want anything to do with my ex, but I keep getting pressure from mutual friends that I should give her a chance to be back in my life as a friend now that she's changed for the better. I'm glad she's better, but still don't think I want any kind of prolonged relationship with her. Thinking about going NC with a lot of those friends. I'm not sure how else to proceed. Any thoughts, advice would be greatly appreciated. Sorry if this is long. My 30 male ex, I'm 30 female, and I dated in college for almost 3 years. We broke up because I caught her cheating on me red-handed with a guy in our apartment. I found out she had been cheating on me for at least 6 months. It wasn't entirely unexpected. In that time I did see changes in her. I did suspect cheating in the back of my mind, but I wanted it to be not true bad enough to push those hunches away, I guess. I desperately tried talking with her about us, but she always said it was something else bothering her. Stress getting to her, etc., and she talked me out of worrying. I also found out later that said guy introduced her to some hard substances and she eventually began using. She dropped out of school. Found out from a mutual friend that it was because her parents cut her off monetarily and she shacked up with the guy she cheated on me with. I was completely NC with her since the breakup. I was hurt a lot emotionally by everything and ended up struggling through some pretty deep depression and self-doubt. Was honestly the lowest point I've been at. A lot of that stemming from the fact that I was very much in love with them. Was even at the point where I was considering proposing after we graduated prior to everything happening and was saving up for a ring. Looking back, it was just a lot of me looking through rose-tinted glasses. Cut to now. I am happily married. My wife, a 28 female, is amazing. Absolutely the best thing that has ever happened to me. We've been together for 5 years, married 1.5. She's been an incredibly supportive partner, and has helped me combat my self-doubt a lot. Still battle with it sometimes, but I'm in a much better place now compared to 9 years ago. We're also expecting our first child. I've never been happier in my life. Well, about 2 months ago, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize and they left a message. It was M. The message was essentially her asking me to give her a call so we could talk. Apparently, she got my number off of one of our mutual friends, T. I immediately talked to T. I was very angry at first because T knew exactly what I had been through with that breakup. And she gave him my number no question, without even asking me or anything. I found out from T that M had been through rehab for her substance abuse. She had moved back closer to our area. She was trying to mend fences and that I should hear her out. With that in mind, I decided to give M a call back. I made up my mind before talking to her that I really didn't want any kind of prolonged contact with her, but I figured if talking to me was somehow part of her recovery process, then I would try and at least talk to her. I also told my wife about everything that's going on. A and I had a long talk about it and went over how we both felt about the situation. I told my wife I think I should at least call M, but really didn't want anything more than that, as I wanted to focus on her and our growing family. A was totally understanding. M and I talked on the phone for a while. She apologized for everything. The cheating, the lies, all of the above. I accepted her apology and said I was glad she was doing better. Because I genuinely am. We talked about our lives up to that point a bit. I didn't tell her everything, but she does know I am married. Toward the end of the conversation, she said she'd eventually like to be friends again and asked if I wanted to meet up for coffee or something. I politely declined, and said that I'm glad she's on the way to healing, but I don't think I want any kind of friendship or relationship with her. We said our goodbyes and hung up. In the time since then, M has not contacted me, but I've gotten messages and calls from T as well as other people both M and I know, saying that it's been so long, and that I should try and rebuild some kind of friendship with my ex. I just don't think I want that. I just want to focus on my family, and not dredge anything else up from the past. I've tried to express that to anyone who's talked to me about the situation. Some understand my position, some still persist. I'm honestly just thinking about going full NC and blocking people who keep trying to push myself and M together. Any advice on how I could proceed otherwise? Or if that is the right choice? Should I give her a chance to be back in my life in some capacity? Edit. Thank you all for your advice and thoughts. I didn't expect all of these responses, but I took time this morning to read through them all. After reading them, as well as talking with my wife about it again, I have decided that I need to stick to my guns and that my original instincts were correct. My plan moving forward is to try and establish clear boundaries one final time with T and anyone else who needs them. And explain one final time exactly why I do not want M in my life. And I just need to cut out anyone who does not respect that. Again, thank you all for taking time to read and respond to my post. I really appreciate it. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.